Then, he confessed. He told detectives that on the morning of May 25, 1979, he saw Etan walking alone and offered him a soda. Etan followed him down into the basement of the store, and there, Pedro claimed, he choked the boy until he was dead. Then he stuffed Etan's body into a plastic bag, put it in a box, and dumped it with the trash a few blocks away. It was a shocking admission. After all these years, was this the truth? But Hernandez's confession raised more questions than answers. There was no physical evidence, no DNA, no witnesses. He had never been named in the original investigation. And there was something else. Hernandez had been diagnosed with schizophrenia and had a long history of delusions. Had he imagined it? Was he confessing to something he didn't do? Defense attorneys argued just that, but police believed him. He knew details about the crime that hadn't been made public. His story, while fragmented, remained largely consistent, and members of his own family said he had been talking about a boy he killed since the 1980s. For Stanley and Julie Patz, the confession was overwhelming. After decades of uncertainty, they were forced to relive every detail again, this time in court. In 2015, the trial began. The first trial ended in a hung jury 11-1 in favor of guilt. One juror simply wasn't convinced that a confession without physical evidence could be trusted. But in 2017, during the retrial, the jury reached a unanimous verdict. Pedro Hernandez was found guilty of murder and kidnapping in the case of Etan Patz. He was sentenced to 25 years to life in prison. It was the closest thing to closure the Patz family had ever known. Etan's body was never found. His final moments remained clouded in uncertainty. But after nearly 4 decades, someone was finally held accountable. And for a family and a nation that had waited so long, that mattered. On February 14, 2017, a Manhattan courtroom finally delivered a verdict that had been nearly 38 years in the making. Pedro Hernandez was convicted of second-degree murder and first-degree kidnapping in the case of 6-year-old Etan Patz. He showed little emotion as the judge read the sentence: 25 years to life in prison. For many, it was the end of one of America's longest-running missing child investigations. But for Etan's parents, Stanley and Juliet, was never about revenge. They didn't speak publicly after the sentencing. They never made the case about themselves. Instead, they remained fiercely